Welcome back, I'm Edru, and today we're diving into a key aspect of 2D platformers, and that's how your characters move. Having a smooth movement in your game can truly be a game changer. If you are familiar with games like Celeste and Hollow Knight, you probably noticed how awesome they feel to play because the characters move so seamlessly. In this tutorial, I'm here to guide you through creating that exact kind of movement in Godot 4, and I'll break it down to you into a simple and beginner-friendly approach. So let's just start the tutorial and let's take a closer look at the world of smooth movement. So let's start by creating our player. I'm gonna add a new scene, a character body 2D. I'm gonna name it player. And we will save our scene to our folder. I'm using an assets pack called Treasure Hunters by Pixel Frog. You can find it on the description if you want to download it. And as you can see here in my folders, my sprites came separated, they aren't in the sprite sheet. So I'm gonna need to use an animated sprite 2D. If they come in a sprite sheet, you can use a sprite cutter to cut the sprites, or you can use this node, animation player. If you want me to make a video only about the animation player, tell me in the comments and I'll make it. So okay, let's add an animation sprite 2D. This is really simple to understand. Here on the inspector you have the animation. Just add a new sprite frame, open it, and here we have. So here we can create new animations, so I'm gonna add 4, as you can see here. Here we can delete, I'm gonna delete this one. And you can rename it, so I'm gonna do idle, run, jump, and fall. These are the animations that I need. This button we use when we want an animation to play when the game starts. So for example, I want my idle animation to play when I start the game, so I'm gonna select it. And I want my idle animation to loop, my run animation to loop, and my fall animation to loop. But the jump one, I don't want it to loop, so I'm gonna disable. And I'm gonna change to 10 FPS. FPS is frame per second, it's basically the velocity that your animation will play, and since my art plays on 10 FPS, I'm gonna select 10 FPS. So now just pick your sprites, shift, click, and drag. Here we have it, you can press play here, and we have our animation. Let's do the same for run, for jump, and for fall. Wrong. Sprites. Here. Okay, now we have our animations, so you can test them. And do you remember that idle will play when the game starts? So let's just instantiate our player into this scene, put him here, and run it. And as you can see, our animation is playing, it's working. Now we need to make a code that makes the player move and makes the player play the other animations, like the run when it's moving, the fall when it's falling, and the jump when the player wants to jump. So let's get into it. So let's start by adding our script. Select your player scene, add a new script, be sure that the template is empty, create. And here we have. We need some variables, so I'm gonna create var speed. It's gonna be an int, and it's gonna be equal to var gravity. And var jump force. So I've created 3 variables. One is speed, that determines how fast our player is going to move, gravity, so the player doesn't float, and jump force, that's how high our player can jump. Actually, I'm gonna put export here, on 3. And if you aren't familiar with the export, it's just so your variables can appear here on your inspector and you can change them here. It's easier. So let's start by creating our physics process, and we are going to start by making the horizontal movement. To do that, we need to create a var direction, and direction is going to be equal to input dot get axis. And here you need to go to the project settings, input map, and add new action. I already have them here, but I can remake them. So go to add new action. I'm gonna do left, right, and jump. Now I just go to the plus sign, add event, and just click your key. So for left I want to use A, for right I'm gonna use T, and for jump I'm gonna use space. Okay, now if you save it, you can see here I have left and I have right. Put them in this order, and get axis is basically a Godot built-in method that basically if you are pressing your left, you're going to direction is going to be equal to -1. If you're pressing right, it's going to be equal to 1, and if you aren't pressing left or right, it's going to be equal to 0. So you can see what we have here. We can check if the player is moving or not. So basically, if direction it's greater than 0, basically velocity dot x, we need to change the horizontal axis, the x, so it's gonna be equal to direction multiplying by speed. And now if you're gonna run the game, but just add move and slide to the end of your code, if you're going to run the game, you can see that our player is moving, but there's a problem. Our player doesn't stop. To do that, we need to add an else here. So if the player isn't moving, we want the velocity dot x to be 0. So run again, and here you have it. Our player is moving. Okay, now as you can see here, we have some problems. So our player doesn't fall, it doesn't go to the ground, it doesn't stand on the ground, and our player doesn't rotate. So if I'm going left, it still faces right. Okay, we're going to solve it. So for gravity, I'm gonna create here. We're just gonna check if not is on 4. So basically another built-in Godot method that basically detects if the player is on the floor or not. So if it's on the air, our velocity dot y, we are changing the vertical movement here, it's gonna be plus equal to gravity multiplying by delta. Okay, so if we run the game, you can see our player falls, but it doesn't collide with the ground. So we need to go to our player scene and add a collision shape 2D. Here you can use the shape that you want. I like to use the rectangle shape for pixel art. So yeah, I'm just gonna put it like this. And if I run the game again, as you can see, it's working. But now we need to make the player face left or right. Remember when I told you that if we are going left, direction is gonna be equal -1, and if we are going right, direction is gonna be equal to 1. So we can use that here. So let's make rotate here, and if direction is gonna be equal to 1, so right, and we are going to use this method, so flip edge. As you can see here, if you go to inspector and method sprite 2D, offset, flip edge or flip horizontal, if you make it true, it just flips. So we can use this to flip our player. So as you can see, if it's going right, it's false, and if it's going left, it's true. So if we are going right, drag this into our code. So flip h is gonna be false. Elif direction is equal -1, drag it again, and it's gonna be true. Okay, you can run your game, it's gonna work. Let's run it. Okay, now it's working, but we still have some problems. We can't jump, so let's start by making the jump here. Okay, so I'm gonna create new line here. I'm gonna say jump, and here it's very easy. Remember that we set up the input for the jump, so basically here we're gonna do if input dot isAction just press. Basically isAction just press, it detects if you are pressing that key, and if you click the key, and if you want to press the key, just put isAction press. But I just want the player to jump one time and just click the space one time, so I'm gonna use isAction just press jump, and is on 4. So basically our player is on the 4, and we click space, velocity minus equal jump force. Okay, so here velocity dot y. So, I'm sorry. Here, if you run our game, it's gonna work. You can jump now, as you can see. But now we need the animations. Okay, so we're going to make the run animation and idle animation first. So go to direction. You're gonna drag our animated sprite dot play, and then run. Okay, and just copy that and put that on the idle and rename it to idle. Okay, so as you can see, our player now can run. Nice. Let's make the other animations. So just paste that on the jump here. And now there's a problem. If you run your game and just play it, you can see that the animation jump isn't playing. That's because here we are running the run animation and idle animation when we move or stop. So for that, I'm gonna just put if is on 4, so we just want to run on the 4, and put that on our animation. So now if you run your game, it's gonna be working. So as you can see, our player is jumping. Now for the last animation, the fall animation, we're going to go to the gravity and check if velocity dot y is greater than 0, and if it is, we're gonna to play the fall animation. So this is basically, so when the player goes to the higher point of the jump and is starting to fall, we are going to play the animation fall. So as you can see, our movement is now working. So that's how you make 2D Godot smooth movement. Basically, you can play with it, you can adjust your vowels, you can adjust the gravity if you want. That's basically it. I hope you liked this video. It's my first video. I hope you liked. Just leave a like and subscribe and comment ideas for the next video. And if you have some questions, just ask them on the comments, and maybe I can create a video helping you. So yeah, bye guys, thank you for watching. Bye.